Hey, we're back here with another video for the series that I'm doing on the Voll testing machine. So I'm going to get my information and read right from the manual. Of course, this is the Russian manual. This is the exact same thing. It's just photocopied and it's not color, but it's English. So I wanted to do a few different tests here. You see, this is all Russian, so we're not going to go by that, but we are going to, it says testing medication and cosmetics. How interesting is that? So what we're going to do for this is actually use the hooked up electrode and put the different things in the top. Now, a previous version of this, before they updated it, the little well on the top was deeper. You can see it online if you put like a vitamin in there. I mean, it probably went down. It was like a little scoop well that probably went down to about here. I don't know why they made it flatter. Maybe because instead of going in on an incline, they wanted it to sit right across the top. However, we're going to use this. So they said there's two ways that you can test. You can put things in the hollow tube. It's not directly wired in. However, it's in your biofield. And that is accurate as well. However, this is a stronger way to test. So, and you use this in measurement testing as well, getting like a measurement test. And I didn't even go over that part yet, but anyways, let's measure some things, putting things right in here. All right, let's just turn this on. I was up this morning and I think I spent the last 3 hours researching and looking stuff up and looking through all the Dr. Voll manuals I could find online, on PDF form, reading them. My eyes are sore. However, then I thought, well, let's just look in this manual that came with the device. And I'm going to read right on here what to do. So it says testing medication and cosmetics, jewelry, like anything like that. The medication tests consist in registering changes in electropuncture parameters when the test substance is inserted into the cavity of the passive electrode. Okay, this is the passive electrode. Oh, I feel I have. So the one that connects, you can see passive, number 6, it's this one. This is the active electrode. This is hollow. The passive one is the solid one. This is the passive one. Okay. So when we insert it into the contour, so they call this the contour cavity right there. If the substance is in a small package, then it can be put in a container and put it in there. So you can basically use a package, the actual vitamin itself or whatever you're testing, a small amount of the product. You can put it on a little paper square and test it on that. So the substance should be sampled for testing using a glass or a wooden stick or a little piece of paper set in there. So it says the indicator values, that what's going to show up on here is going to range when you're doing like testing like this. It's going to range from 50 to 65. We're looking for 50. So from this range right here to just 2 little dots past the 60. So all in this upper range. And you should have the no indicator drops. Like if it's something that's good for you. So say if you say if you have a baseline testing and it's like 40, and then you want to test if something is good for you, or say you have a baseline testing like mine's always like 54, and I want to test if something is good for me. So I know my baseline testing is 54. If I take, I don't know, this is something I got from the Goyechi Institute. It's, I got a facial analysis done one time. Anyways, if I want to test if this is good for me, I can put that on there and have it on there. I could even just be holding it like that and test and see, is this gonna, if it stays the exact same, then I know that this is good for me. It's good. It's not decreasing. It's not going, up to 70. So, but what if I took my, gosh, these are so old. I don't even know what they're called, but they're blood pressure pills, but I think they're like 3 or 4 years old. I didn't like taking them, but the doctor said my blood pressure was high. Anyways, I took other things instead. So if I put that on there, and I can see how my body is going to react to that. Isn't that interesting? Or sugar or food or a magnet or crystal. So the thing is knowing where to test, right? Like where, so we're just going to play around with this right now. Cause I'm just learning so much, but it says the goal is to get, when you test something, the goal is to get you closer into that 50-60 range. That is your goal for anything that you have on you, that you wear, that you put in your body. You don't want it to deplete your energy pathway, right? And you don't want it to go so excessive that it's too much for you. So I think that's amazing if I can, and cosmetics, it says you can do cosmetics. So the correct performance of the test is always, the goal is to normalize your numbers. Okay. And it says they should fit in the range from 50 to 60. Well, it says 65, but that's literally the second. It's in this top parameter. So it says the initial indicator is recorded and the medication is added to the cavity. They call this a cavity for the testing. And then the indicators readings are recorded again after being modified by the medication. Let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, we want to be damp. If you guys are watching this, it means I know you're interested. And hopefully you have this device. Other than that, it's not going to make much sense. Okay, so let's test. Where are we going to test? They said a good place to test is your pericardium, which is on your ring finger, and it's your blood, it's your circulation. It's your pericardium control measure point. So let's test that. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so 60. All right, let's put something, blood pressure. Well, no, yeah, let's put this. Let's put that right in there. Let's just put 1 in there. And let's test this again. Okay, I have 1 of the pills. Let's test it again. Let's just see what that does. How interesting is this? Look at that. Do you see that? It went I don't know if you can see that. We got to see that. Whoops. Look at that. It went up to 72. That's not good. So that is not good for me because it didn't keep me in the normal value. So I know right away that wasn't good for me. I had a good hunch not to take those. Okay. So they say you always have to, when you test something, when you're done your before and your after. So my blood pressure, it went up to like 72. My blood pressure pills for that. I'm going to take like a homeopathy one for blood pressure. I've got it stabilized with everything that I do, biomagnetism, all that stuff. So guys, if you're watching this, don't be like, oh my gosh. No, that medication is like years old. Okay, yeah, so to get this back, okay, so you add it and then you do the readings, they're recorded again. So the active electrode is touched to, so this is my active electrode. It has to be touched to this cell to reset my changes caused by the medication. So when you reset something that goes all the way to 100, you've reset it. So now you can test another medication and it's not remembering that. Isn't that interesting? And it says, and then test your pericardium again. I'm just going to massage it here because it was pointed at a couple of times. So it said, so once you clear it, test it again, and you should have the same value that you first tested it with. It should go back to that, to 60, right? And if it didn't, did it say if it didn't, the control points are measured again. If the indicator has not returned to its initial state, then to restore that initial state of my measuring point, it's necessary to lightly touch it with the active electrode or lightly massage the point with a fingertip or just wait a few minutes. So I'm just massaging it. If I have my little acupuncture thing that I can roll on my finger, that can do it. Lightly touching it with, whoops. See, it won't do anything until you press in on it. So, okay, so let's test this again. It should go back down to my initial 160. Everything should have cleared by now. Let's test this. There we're at 60. We're at 60. We're good. Okay, so that's so cool. That is so cool. I know that isn't good for me. Oh my gosh, this is really, really interesting. Okay, yes, what I'm going to test now is this. It's a homeopathic liquid drop called, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I take, actually. I don't want to get in trouble with Tim, the doctor, the Goyechi Institute, because they do a facial analysis. So if I say this is what I take, that's not going to be necessarily what you need. And you can't get anything from them anyways, unless you do a facial analysis and it's personally for your facial analysis. So anyways, but let's test it. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's back to 60. So we're going to test this. I just don't know what points. Whoops. I'm not exactly sure. For the skin, I really should be testing my skin points, but that's on my feet. I'll have to do that after. So I can hold this as well. But let's just see. Would it be large intestine, nervous system? Let's just do the pericardium. So it went to 64. Well, that's interesting. It went to 64 to 60. That's interesting because on here it said the goal when testing medications, we're not just testing each meridian point to see how healthy it is, but the goal, it says, is to be between 50 to 65 units, and if it's good for you or not. So yeah, so I mean, it stayed in that. It didn't go past 70. So I'm assuming that that is good for me. Let's check. Let me see. Let's do sugar. Now, I don't have allergies to sugar. But let's just see what sugar does to my, I should be almost testing all of them. Okay, like all of the points to see how they differ. But let's just do, wait, what was I just testing? Wait, we got to get this back to reset it. Let's put the sugar in here. That's wet. Okay, so this is sugar. So pericardium. Look at that. It went to 80. Did you guys see that? Did you see that? I think it did that in one of my other videos that I did when I put the sugar in the hollow tube and it was away from me, not even connected. And that was 80. That just goes to show you can either do this or this. Sugar is too excessive for me. 80. It's another thing that I don't have. I usually put 1 teaspoon of sugar in my coffee. I'm going to have to just do honey. I'm going to have to just use honey. I wonder if honey's good for me. I need to test it. What's this? Sweet chestnut? The Bach. Okay, so let's get this back. Reset it. Okay. Well, this is fun, isn't it? Oh, wait. Reset it and test. It should just be at 60. And I am. Okay, so it's good. Presence of sugar is gone, right? So that means that if I put sugar into my body, it's too much. Like my body doesn't like that. Sweet chestnut. I don't even know what this is for. Oh, it says be optimistic. Be optimistic. $60. That one is good for me. Because when it doesn't change, good thing that didn't break. That's glass. So that's the Bach flower essences. That's to do for emotions. So you got a whole bunch of Bach flower essences. You don't know which one you should take. Test it. If your values don't change, it means it's not depleting you and it's not causing excess in your body. So this is good for me. Let me try this other one that I have. Wait a minute. This is this whole process of doing it right. And they say after you do 100 of them, you will you'll kind of know what you're doing. Yeah, so I'm at 60. The very, very top, like right here, if you guys can't see it, this says 60. Right at the top. So let's see what this does. This is something I got from my facial analysis as well. Let's see what it does for me. Whoa, that goes up to 70. So maybe I have to do certain drops in that and not just test the whole thing, because you're supposed to just take 3 drops. So maybe if I put 3 drops of this on a little piece of paper, and you should muscle test. Gosh, I hate to waste these. This is so expensive. I just want to test it though. Well, 1, 2, 3. Let's just do that. Put that on there. I don't think I should have went up to 70, so that's a little concerning. All right, let's test it again. 62. Kind of going back to 60, so that's okay. And anywhere between 50 and 65 is what we want it to be. So let's put this back to normal. We test this point. I want it to be at 60. Perfect. Okay, so I know that these preparations from the Goyechi Institute is good for me. These cell salts. So I just ordered some to take. This is the 12-in-1 Jackson cell salts. There's none in here. However, the resonance is still in here. So should still be able to test it, even with just the presence of it, because you can even test words in your energy field. Okay, let's just see. And maybe I need to be doing other points. Yeah, so that is staying in that indicator. Low battery, I'm always low battery. So this doesn't drop. It's not going way in excess. So I can take those. What about this OPI? I don't hardly ever wear nail polish, but I put it on last week. And I don't know. I don't know if this is good for me or not. So let's just see. I don't have any nail polish on today. I took it off. I got to find out, should I be, maybe I should do the allergy test. Wait. I wouldn't be allergic to it. So the allergy test. Ooh, that went right up to 70. So wow. Whoops. There, whoops. Oh, 64. So so that means there's a presence of allergy somewhere in my body, but what if I introduced the OPI nail polish? Test that same point. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Do you see how that's indicating? So at first, yeah. Look at that. So that's basically saying that nail polish, there must be some toxicity or something in it, because I had like a lower reading. It was like below 50 and dropping. Well, that's unfortunate. What else can I test here? What else can I test? I've got this circadian rhythm. These are vibrant blue oils, circadian rhythm. So it's made up of 2 or 3 oils. So let's just see what that does for my, what would I be checking? Nervous system, blood circulation. I think that's the point I should be testing. Oh wait, did I do that? Okay. Let's get the allergy point back to where it should be. Yep, okay, we're good. Let's introduce this oil. Let's test. Yeah. So that's kind of staying between 62. It drops a little bit, but it's between the 50 and the 60. So that is good for me. What about the presence of a magnet? Oops. What about the presence of a magnet? Interesting. That's interesting because the positive side of a magnet can excite your cells, and a negative is calming and more relaxing. I do have it, the negative touching the top, so the black part of it is touching. Let's just check the blood circulation on that. I went up to 64. Went up to 64. Let's reset that and put the positive in. Okay. Let's check again. Kind of the same, 64. 64. So it'd be interesting though if one of my points was so depleted and then I put the magnets on me to see what it would do. But it seems like that's good. I'm not sure why they say when testing medications, you want your values to range from 50 to 65. And you don't want to have a drop, an indicator drop. So I guess it's just you want to get to the normalization. So, if it's at an 80 and you're going back to 65, this is a good thing. If you're at 40 and it's going up to 55, 60, that's a good thing. We always want to normalize it back to a normal parameter. Interesting. Oh, let's do the CIAS. Let's do the CIAS. So what this is, hold on. There we go. These are tablets that you place on your skin. I've got them in little baggies. You place them on your skin, and they are supposed to help your body, pain reliever. Every 100 pounds of body weight, you need a certain amount of pills kind of taped to the different meridians, and it works topically through the skin. Isn't that interesting? So, get our values back. Let's put this right here. And let's test. What can we test? What it does to blood circulation. So my normal is 60. Okay. So let's just see. So that went to 68, 70. So it increased. It could be increasing my blood circulation. Maybe it immediately, the minute I placed it there, it's like, oh my goodness, like, is this a good thing? Right? Let me see if we check another point. We check the heart, pineal, endocrine, the endocrine organs. Let's do the large intestine. That's kind of like your toxic load. Okay, we're in the 60 value. Let's just check everything with the CIAS. Good. And just see if it improves everything. Everything is kind of large intestine, my nervous system, degeneration point. Interesting. Everything is good. My allergy point. No, my allergy point went up to 70. So there's still something around me that's I have, so that's worth investigating. This is this is like an organ degeneration point. Went right up to 76. Well, isn't that interesting? Let's check that without it. So this is the organ degeneration point, is right along your ring finger. So there would be other points that you would now have to investigate. Why did that go up so high in the presence of CIAS? Let's check this again, and it's still the same without it. So something's going on in the organ, but which organ? So that's where you go and you test all along. Is it kidneys? Is it lungs? Is it? So there's all the points along the different pathway that now I need to investigate to say, okay, which one of those? And you know what? I bet it's my kidney. I bet it's my kidneys, because my kidneys are full of stones. They're full of kidney stones. So that's probably why my organ degeneration point goes right up to that. I mean, I haven't had a scan on my kidneys for 5 years. I haven't had any issues, but there could be. I'm hoping they're all gone because I take Chankapedra, the supplement, the tea. I have the kidney tuning fork. So I do a lot of work, but there's still it's an excess or something going on with one of my organs. What else could I test? What else could I test? Oh, let's do the spirulina. Let's do spirulina. This will be my last one, guys. I didn't know this video was going to be so long. Who's still watching? I do these videos so I can rewatch them, actually, and then I can delete them off of my phone. No. Okay, so clear, reset. Let's put the spirulina in there. What can we test for that? Spirulina. Large intestine, maybe? What does it do? So I'm at like 62, 64. So not excessive. I'm still about my blood circulation, pericardium, good. My heart, good. What about my lymphs? Everything is attached. Lymph, good. Lungs, good. Okay, so it seems like spirulina is good for my system. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Okay, guys. Well, that's it, I guess, for testing today. So we measured the readings. We put on a tested medication. We read the readings again. We removed the tested medication. We cleared the cell, reset it, install a new medication for testing. So it says if there's an allergic reaction, the readings will increase to more than 10 units. So if it does, it can be concluded that there is an allergic reaction to a substance. So if something goes, I was at 60, I introduced it, it jumped 10 units. So that would be 2, 4, 6, 8. So 10 units, it would go from 60 to 70 immediately. It could be concluded that there is an allergic, a sensitivity reaction in your body. If your normal value before you tested anything remains unchanged, it means it's neutral. So it's possible to use that medication without the risk of any adverse reactions. So your tolerability to a product, a jewelry, is tested the same way. Yeah, I didn't test. Should test selenite. I wonder what selenite would do. So if I test, whoops, I gotta be holding this. If I test my pericardium, it's at 60. And I introduce selenite, and I test that again, and it brings it down to 58. That's good. That means selenite is good for my body. Made it drop just a couple. That's probably good, and it's probably calming. So that's good for me. What about black tourmaline? Let's just do that. Whoops. Oh yeah, that's the right one. Look, my pen and my wand look the same. So retest it. I still have to do more training, like to just make sure this is doing everything correctly. I'm massaging the point so I'm not getting false readings. Okay. So if I introduce black tourmaline, what does that do? It's 52, 54. That's good because I think when we started this was at 60. That point, that was my normal baseline. So, and I dropped it to 54. That's good. So this means my black tourmaline is probably really, really good for my system as a calming stone. I got selenite to clear, black tourmaline. So interesting. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for being on this little journey with me to learn all about how to use this. All right. Bye-bye.